Hello, everybody. My guest today is Kurt Daniel. He served as CEO of Ubersmith since 2014 and venture partner at NextGen Venture Partner since 2017. Previously, he helped build and scale three startups, Parallels, Worklight, and MongoDB, which obviously IPO'd. Earlier, Kurt was a lead product manager at Microsoft. Kurt, you ready to take us to the top?
I am. Thanks.
All right. How active were you at MongoDB? Was it kind of employee number, 7 and up to IPO, or where were you?
Their valuation was actually, I think, around 500 million when I joined.
Okay. How many team members? How many employees?
Employees, it was, I want to say, it was 100 plus. And when I left, the valuation was, I think, around 1.4 billion, and we had maybe 300 plus employees.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so Ubersmith, you joined in 2014 as CEO. Was NextGen an investor and it went flat, and so you had to go in and save the thing, or what's the context there?
No, I had done three startups, and this was my first CEO gig, which I was really excited about, having done multifunctional roles at those other companies. And it happened to be a small company within a public company. So we are owned by a parent company called INAP on the NASDAQ. It's a data center services company. And we are part of that, but running it much like a startup inside with success now for 4 years in a very kind of entrepreneurial
Spell
way.
the name of your parent company.
It's INAP, formerly known as Internap, which is the ticker is INAP.
Got it. Okay, INAP. Now, so when you look at actually the cap table of Ubersmith, I mean, is it owned 100% by INAP, or you've got 10% for yourself? There's an option pool for equities like a typical startup.
Yeah, good question. It's 100% owned by the parent, and then some folks have anyone who has stock at Ubersmith has stock in the parent company stock.
Okay, interesting. So why a guy like you have all this experience? I mean, why not go start fresh? You own 100% of the cap table, launch a business from scratch. Why do this inside a big beast? I don't know that I'm a founder type, although I've helped founders as an advisor, independent director, when they've had as little as, one person or a couple founders. And I joined Worklight when they had 20 or so people. When I joined Parallels, they had 100 plus people. I think I'm more of a growth person and long-term kind of, product growth, business growth, team building, that kind of person. So I'm entrepreneurial, but not necessarily a founder. But I love startups. And for me, I fell in love with the product and the space in terms of subscriptions, in terms of the cloud and where data centers and IT infrastructure is moving to. And I feel like we're both, riding and enabling both of those waves. So just to be clear, for people not familiar with you, you're essentially subscription business management.
Correct. Subscription billing. We also do subscription quoting, order management, monitoring, and ticketing, and that kind of thing. So it's a modern SAP or Oracle, if you will, focused on subscriptions, but also going deep with the cloud and doing turnkey billing, which is really interesting. Turnkey billing for things like virtualization, bandwidth.
So are you a SaaS company, or is this professional services?
It's a SaaS company and a software company, and almost no professional services.
Okay, so you just said kind of custom billing. What do you mean? Do you have a team building out custom billing solutions, or what?
We don't have a team building. Our customers build them themselves with our platform. We have a nice API documentation and a plugin system, which we launched this past year. We also build dozens of integrations ourselves, but at a product level, not at a services level. So think of payments integrations. We integrate with 60 plus payment gateways around the world. We integrate with tax solutions, and also a lot of interesting geeky things like on-app for people who want to set up a cloud, like a cloud service provider, or control panels for hosting, or certain things like that. And
walk me through on average, what's a company or a new company going to pay you for all these things per month?
They can start as little as $200 a month, which is quite approachable. And our largest customer pays us tens of thousands of dollars already per month. And so, that number is expected to go up over time as well. It's a nice range. On average, it's about, I think, 3,000 or so plus or minus MRR per customer.
Okay. So $3,000 a month. So you're kind of pushing mid-market enterprise at that price point.
We can actually go pretty startup-y, pretty small.
No, I get that. You work for everyone. I totally get it. Everyone says that. But at $3,000 a month average, you're really catered towards mid-market and enterprise, even though you might have a long tail of $200 a month customers.
Actually, the sweet spot is probably between 10 and like 300 employees, and I wouldn't describe that exactly the market segments that you said. So okay. I'd say it's solidly SMB.
Okay, but $3,000 a month on average.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a lot to get from an SMB. That's true. But we only have maybe 5 plus customers that are public companies that use us. The rest are all squarely SMB out of 140 or so customers in 13 countries.
Okay, so 140 customers today. I mean, can I do the math? 140 times that 3,000 you just gave me. We can kind of back into what, 420 in terms of MRR.
That's I can't disclose like super specific information, but I can say that you're in the ballpark. Sure.
Okay, and in terms of growth rate, just on this branch of the business, obviously you're part of a parent company, but I mean, doubling year over year, tripling year over year. What are you kind of grown at?
We are growing, every year I've been here, and the growth is not. I wouldn't say it's your typical. Think of it as like a group within a public company that's been established for quite a while. It's not your typical venture growth where you're doubling or tripling a year per year. It's very good growth. It is interestingly, very profitable. So it's growing and profitable, and it's really interesting financially as a business.
The team size right now, what are you guys at?
20 to 30 people.
It's just on this product, not the parent company.
Just on this, yeah.
Okay, interesting. So 25. And then look, the tricky thing about your kind of business is it's hard to understand how effective you're being with capital because the parent company can essentially subsidize you as long as you need it. Now, you said as a unit you are profitable, but have they put in a bunch of money at the beginning to get it going, or are they continuing to subsidize it as time goes on?
We're funding it from our operations in progress. So there's no investment, so to speak. There's just a decision. The main decision is how much do we spend on marketing and how many people do we have on the team. So it's just a headcount investment discussion each year, but it's always funded from the profit. There's never like a cash investment. It always comes out of the growth and out of the profit.
Okay.
Each year.
And where's the team based? All New York?
Headquartered in New York City, right next to Bryant Park. And then we have a CTO office in Montreal, which has worked out really well for us. He came from a sister company, and a customer company, and customer and sister company. And we have an operations office in between in Albany near RPI. And then we have a couple people, one in Switzerland, one in the Philippines for sales and support for global operations.
Great. And then talk to me about churn. It's critical in any SaaS company. What's your churn today and how do you keep it low?
Our customers stay on average around 7 years, which is fantastic. There's a lot of land and expand. So starting out kind of low and just growing and staying with us for a really long time. I think billing is sticky. I think subscription billing is stickier. And then when you look at this suite that we have and these turnkey billing things we do, we're not just another billing company. There's so many dozens of billing companies. I'm sure you're even aware, not in the billing space yourself, that look a lot similar to each other. I like that we really have that clear differentiation and so forth.
Yeah. So an 84-month LTV or 7 years, I mean, that would mean you're churning what, about 1.5% of your logos per month on average?
That's probably a fair ballpark.
How do you get to the 7 years, I guess is my question.
We take the customer base and look at the percent churn and then just kind of multiply it out or whatever.
Just one divided by monthly churn, and then that gives you the 7 years.
Yeah.
Interesting. So in terms of being aggressive about customer acquisition, right? So to get a new $3,000 a month customer, what are you paying fully weighted CAC to get that customer? How aggressive are you being?
Yeah, we've calculated this a few different ways. And it's a little bit difficult to calculate because we spend so little on marketing. And we have such a small kind of go-to-market team. So we have basically one marketing person right now. And we have basically one or two salespeople. It's inside sales. It's a lot of word of mouth. It's a lot of just SEO for cloud billing, data center billing, and people just coming to us. A lot of referrals. A lot of people leave our customers after those 7 years or within those 7 years. Come. They start a new company or join a new company and come to us. So it's what we really want to do as a company is not only just build out the product, but also to build out the go-to-market.
So you're not really tracking then fully weighted CAC at this point because it's a good number.
We're not. That's not something we track frequently. We've done the exercise a few times in the last year or two, and it's not something I want to reveal at this point. I don't think it's that interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's mainly just taking salaries and taking portions of jobs and kind of calculating it that way. We don't have like this enormous marketing budget. And
by the way, but that's true for tons of companies. I mean, that is usually the biggest part of CAC is headcount. So I mean, it is valuable. I know it's valuable.
You take the 7 years, and then you take like the 3,000 MRR, and you come up with a pretty big number.
It's $250,000 in terms of LTV.
CAC came up with, I think it was around like 20 grand or something, but there's different ways to do it.
Yep.
So you spend 20 grand, but you get, what's the math on that?
250 grand.
Right. So it's clearly fundable, but we're just, if we have more people, we can actually really take advantage of that.
Yeah, but the tricky thing is it takes you 7 years though to make the $250,000, right? So if you spend 20 grand up front and you're only making $3,000 a month, I mean, it's actually healthy. It's still less than a 12-month payback, but you can get into trouble if you look at a really long LTV but your payback's like 3 years. You can get into big cash gap issues.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I haven't looked at the exercise recently. It's a good thing for me to do tonight to refresh that number. The whole team has kind of changed. We've done some of that, and I should look at maybe the number was actually more like $5,000 or $10,000 or something like that. I should look at it.
Yeah, no, I was just curious. Okay, very good. And then good stuff. Let's wrap up here with the famous five, Kurt. Number one, what's your favorite business book?
Maybe too many to mention, but the Shoe Dog. I read a lot of tech and startup books, but the Shoe Dog about the Nike story, kind of how the accountant started reselling Japanese shoes out of his car at track meets, I thought was really interesting.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
In particular, I've learned a lot from the ones I've worked with. I look at the large tech companies.
Can you name one?
I don't know, Jeff Bezos at Amazon.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building the company?
Favorite online tool? I don't know. Slack has been awesome, and there's so many other wonderful tools.
Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Between 6 and 8.
Okay, and what's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
Married to 2 young daughters.
Oh, wonderful. And how old are you?
How old am I? I am 45.
45. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Just to be even more entrepreneurial earlier, take more risks earlier, and be more aggressive earlier.
Guys, be more aggressive earlier. Coming from Kurt, was at MongoDB, some other big successful companies, now joined Ubersmith. Basically, again, subscription and billing, business management for subscription economy, subscription companies. Now 140 customers paying, call it $3,000 per month. So 420 grand per month in revenue, growing, call it between, maybe 50 and 100% year over year. Not huge venture returns, but also not like, bootstrap flat returns either. They are profitable, which is nice. 25 people between New York and other remote locations. 7-year lifetime value at about $250,000 per customer. Call it spending 10 to 20 grand to get the customer. So healthy payback, less than 12 months as they look to scale inside of their parent company, iNap. Kurt, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks so much.